Welcome. You are listening to the Mindful Minute, meditations created for everyday joy. I'm your host, Meryl Arnett, and my passion is making meditation accessible and enjoyable. This podcast is recorded from my live Monday night meditation class, where we have a brief discussion followed by a guided meditation. If you would like to access these meditation practices as standalone audio files for your daily practice, please subscribe to my newsletter at merylarnett.com. It's free, and you'll receive a new mini meditation each week, along with behind-the-scenes content and bonus material for each podcast episode. All right, let's grab a cup of tea, a comfy seat, and settle in for today's practice. Hello, my friends, and welcome to today's class. I'm so glad to have you. Thanks for taking the time. We are already in the third and final installment of our 2023 Kickoff Meditation Challenge, titled Meditation for the Love of It. And you'll remember that this series is really dedicated to finding out how to make our meditation practice so vital, so nourishing and lovely that we wouldn't dream of missing a day. This is not going to be something that we name as a January intention or resolution, and then 3 months later we go like, oh yeah, I said I was going to meditate this year. Not this year, my friends. We're meditating every day. We are building a lifelong, sustainable practice. Step one of doing that was what I'm calling make our practice beautiful. Make it feel lovely. This is not a practice that you are cramming into the corners of your day. This is a practice that you name and create space for intentionally. So whether you're meditating on your favorite spot on the couch, or seated outside, or at the office, we're doing something to create an environment of intentionality. Now is my time to meditate. We sit down in that intentional space. And step two that we talked about was naming what we most want or need out of the practice, right? Because if we just sit down and meditate, then our unconscious thoughts are what fill that space. So we meditate on the unconscious beliefs or whatever is dominating our worry, our fear, our anxiety in the moment. Instead, we're going to name for ourselves, why am I practicing? What am I here for? Is it an intention? Are you requesting a blessing? Are you naming a desire or a goal for yourself? Fill your meditation practice with what it is you want to bring forward, right? Because energy flows where our attention is. So when I name for myself, you remember last week, my intention, presence, patience, presence, kindness, right? So when I name that for myself, that's where my energy flows. And all day, that stays present for me. Make it beautiful. Name what you most need out of the practice. And here is our third and final step. Dedicate the merit. Dedicate the merit. Offer up your practice. Because this is not meant to be a singular, isolated practice. This is a collective. It is a collective energy, a collective experience. Some of you will remember my friend and fellow meditation teacher, Caverly Morgan. She was a guest on the show a couple months ago. And Caverly, who teaches and writes about this collective experience within meditation, she writes, the longer we cling to the notion that there's a separate self who awakens, the more arduous our path will be. We realize freedom together. I felt a real pivotal shift when she said those words to me. You know, it is one thing to sit on the cushion for ourselves. Patience, presence, kindness, that is for me, right? That's for my engagement with my children and my partner and my colleagues, for my engagement with the world around me. I want to be patient, present, and kind. But if it's just for me, I'm probably going to sacrifice it. I'm going to sacrifice it because my kids are sick and they need something, or my day is really busy and I have a deadline I just can't push. I booked one too many clients. I'm going to let it slide. It's just for me. It's okay. It's not a big deal, right? The same way we skip going to the gym, or we don't cook the wholesome meal because we're just a little too busy. So we offer up, we dedicate our intention, our hopes, our aspirations for the collective good. We remember and remind ourselves continually that we are here for us. If I don't, my practice just becomes a confirmation of that sort of dominant culture rhetoric around independence, isolation, separation. It's just me that has to wake up. I'll be better, right? I'll live my best life. But what good does that do me if everybody else is suffering, right? If I turn on the news and it's pure misery, am I really living my best life? I don't think so. And so we use the end of our practice to connect us to collective empowerment. May this be for the good of the planet. May this benefit all humanity. May patience, presence, and kindness blanket the earth. A simple phrase, a simple connection, something that holds us in community, in collective, so that it's not just this little thing I do for myself that I can skip anytime I want. We are, to use the oh so cliche quote, we become the change we want to see in the world. We stay connected. We don't isolate. We don't turn away. So we're going to practice. And if you followed through these classes with me in January so far, we started with 10 minutes. And after a week, we went to 15 minutes. And today we're going to go to 20 minutes. That's not to say you have to meditate for 20 minutes every day. I mean, I hope you do. It's lovely. I really personally find that 20 minutes feels like a sweet spot in my meditation practice. 10 minutes is great. Like if you're in a rush, you do your 10 minutes, you're certainly going to get something out of it. In fact, like actual science neurological scans have shown changes in the brain from 10-minute practices. So I'm not disregarding that. For me personally, at least, it takes me about 10 minutes to quiet down. It takes me about 10 minutes to sort of cycle through the thoughts, to acknowledge all the to-do list I'm writing in my head, and to let myself drop a little deeper in. And then between 10 and 20, I typically have a deeper, quieter, more connected experience. And so I invite you to explore 20 minutes. If you're new to this, it might get uncomfortable, which is totally normal. And you could just simply notice what it feels like to be uncomfortable. Ask yourself, could I stay just one more minute? And if the answer is yes, you do it. And if the answer is no, you could honor that today, end, and come back tomorrow. And slowly, we build our tolerance for discomfort. We build our comfort with being still being quiet, being with ourselves when we're so used to distracting. And we hold that intention for ourselves. And then at the end, we dedicate that merit. So let's try this together. Yeah. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat. And if you have been seated that whole time that I was talking, wiggle around. Uncross your legs, cross them the other way. If you slumped back in your chair, sit up tall. Let your shoulders roll back and down. And if it feels good for you to close your eyes, you'll do so here. If that doesn't feel quite right, you just take a soft gaze down towards the ground. Together as a group, we'll take a deep inhale in. Exhale a sigh out of your mouth. And we'll do that again, inhaling deeply. Exhaling a sigh out of the mouth. And then allowing your breath just to flow. Breathing easily and naturally as you settle yourself into the space that you have made feel intentional. Whether that's simply a space you return to day after day, whether you use a favorite blanket or shawl or light a candle, you feel the intentionality of your space. And your practice begins as you silently say to yourself, now is my time to meditate. Now is my time to meditate. And in the space that follows that statement, name for yourself, what is it you most need from this practice? And silently or out loud, you repeat those words to yourself a few times. And with your space set and your intention named, perhaps you can sit down a little bit more. Imagine yourself letting go more fully into the chair or cushion beneath you. Letting go of your thigh muscles and your hips. Feeling the long line of your spine. You feel tall and awake here today. And shoulder blades roll back and down. Crown of the head reaching up and back. And gradually we let go of the muscles in the face. Smoothing out the forehead. Letting go of the skin around your eyes. Softening along the jaw, the inside of the cheeks, and the tongue. You might swallow once or twice, allowing your throat to relax. Feeling your breath move out across your collarbone. And softening the muscles all the way through the chest. Imagining or feeling the heart itself soften a bit. And we let go of the muscles in the belly. And you find yourself seated and breathing easily. A slow, fluid inhale. And smooth, fluid exhale. And perhaps you'll feel as you breathe in that your belly expands a little bit. And as you breathe out, you feel just this very slight contraction. Belly pulls in a little bit. And inhale and the belly expands. Exhale, the belly contracts. And this happens without you forcing or exaggerating. You don't have to struggle with it. Just a subtle expansion on inhale. A subtle contraction on exhale. And somewhere here, you hone your attention right onto the feeling of the breath. You feel your body breathing in. You feel your body breathing out. And as we settle into about 10 minutes of silence, we'll each just gently do our best to feel this breath and then this one. And this one. And without doubt, we will also think. We will feel things. Sounds might distract us. And each and every time you notice that you have gotten distracted or lost in a thought, you might smile a little bit because you noticed. Name your intention once again. And then see if you can feel the next breath. And the next. Repeating that continual return of focus to the breath as many times as you need. Without judgment, without criticism. We get distracted. We name our intention and we feel our breath. About 10 minutes here. Feeling your breath here. And noticing exactly what thought or feeling is moving through you in this moment. Without needing to change anything or fix anything. Let your breath begin to deepen. And offer up the merit of your practice of this time spent for collective empowerment. And straightening your spine if you slumped over, wiggling into your fingers and your toes, finding your edges once again. Feeling the richness of the practice that you have created. Together, we'll take one last deep inhale in. Exhale out a sigh. Taking all the time you need to let go of your practice, to blink your eyes open once again. Thank you, guys. I will see you again next week as we continue our meditation journey. Thanks for listening to the Mindful Minute. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving me a review wherever you get your podcasts. This helps others to find the show, and let's face it, we could definitely use more meditators in this world. The Mindful Minute is recorded on Muskogee land and produced with the support of Madeline Day Production Management and Brianna Nielsen Virtual Assistants. To join my live classes, ask questions, or learn more about my teacher trainings, please visit merylarnett.com. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you guys next week.